Right. So right now we're in the middle of a global pandemic. So let's talk a bit about that. Do you see any ways that COVID might shift how business or tech, how business is done?
Absolutely. And I think first of all, I think that entrepreneurship is more important today than it ever has been because COVID-19 brings out the fundamental law, which I call the Siegel law after Sue Siegel from General Electric. The pace of society, the pace of innovation is going faster and faster and faster. The pace of the world is going faster and faster and faster. And the people who can keep up with that are entrepreneurs. And entrepreneurs are what we call anti-fragile people. They don't fear adversity. They don't fear change. In fact, they embrace it. They see it as an opportunity. So entrepreneurs are anti-fragile people who in this. So when you look at COVID-19, you see the people who sit there and go, oh my God, what are we going to do? When are we going to get back to normal? Those people are going to get blown away by the people who say, all right, COVID-19 is changing things. That window closed over here. There's new opportunities someplace else. Let's go figure it out. And you can't sit around and be overcome with anxiety. You can't try to get back to the old ways. It'll never be the same. COVID-19 has fundamentally changed consumer behavior and it's changed society. In a nutshell, you have to be more digital. You've always wanted to be more digital, but what COVID-19 is, it just took that digital dial and it jacked it right up. It doesn't mean that offline things aren't going to exist. It just means online is much more important, and people who are offline need to connect to online. And we see this with our entrepreneurs. The ones who had digital presence and focus on that, they're doing really well. The old school companies that were just like, we do it through the retail, we do it the old way, you know, those people are getting blown out of the water. So and COVID will not be the last thing. There's going to be many more changes that keep coming at us. And it's the anti-fragile people, the entrepreneurs, whether they're in startups, whether they're in big companies, whether they're in academic institutions, in their personal lives, the ones who look at it and say, this is an opportunity. What are we going to do here? Who have the skill sets that we teach in entrepreneurship, and then also who have the way of operating, which is this kind of dynamic community-based way of operating, which isn't command and control. Those are the people who are going to change the world. And they're at a big advantage when things change dramatically. And again, COVID-19, racial injustice, there'll be more things. Don't you worry. We thought it was crazy when we had Donald Trump elected president. Oh my God, this will slow down. Boy, oh boy, we got that on top of all these other things. This is the nature of the world now, though. It's just going to keep going faster and faster and faster. Things are going to break. And if you're set in your ways and you pine for what it was before, boy, are you going to get left behind.
So on that note, if you had to give one piece of advice to young entrepreneurs who'll be starting off in a post-COVID world and dealing with all these rapid changes, what would it be?
First of all, I would tell them to go to our Google MIT Antifragile Entrepreneurship Speaker Series and go spend the 7 hours to watch all those lessons. And that will teach you what you need to know going forward. That would be my advice. And then I would say, you need to embrace the anti-fragile mentality. You need to build up your skill sets to do that. And you start to need to build the community, the network of people that you really trust to do that. And you know, entrepreneurship, I said, is a team sport. It's also kind of a network approach, an ecosystem approach that you need to have that as well. So these are all things that I would give it for advice. So is this a Wharton podcast as well?
It's not a Wharton podcast. I started this on my own just during the quarantine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, great. Well, I was going to give a shout out to Carl Ehrlich at Wharton because he's an old friend who's doing great stuff down there.
Awesome. I can still keep it in.
All right. Well, thank you very much for having me, Anjali. And congratulations on your anti-fragility by saying, hey, I'm stuck at home in a quarantine. Why don't I take lemons and make lemonade? And when you get old enough, you'll take lemons and not make just lemonade. You'll make margaritas too.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, thank you so much for your time.